Royal Caribbean's Jewel of the Seas. So this is going to be a cruise video talking about the last cruise I just went on, February 10th, 2025 to February 20th, 2025. So this is my 5th cruise, and my first cruise I went on in 2015, January 2015, with my friend Lindsay. And then my second cruise was in October 2019. I went with my friend Neil and his friend Mike. That was, so the first two cruises were both on the Carnival Glory. The third cruise I went in January 2022 with my friend Neil. I was on Caribbean Princess. My fourth cruise I went in October 2023 on Royal Caribbean's Adventure of the Seas with my friend Neil. And now February 2025 I just went on my 5th cruise, and this time I went on Royal Caribbean's Jewel of the Seas, and I also went with my friend Neil. So I'm going to be doing a slideshow, kind of showing my experiences, and I'll be talking about what I liked and didn't like about the cruise. And this is the smallest ship I've been on. So the Carnival Glory is 110,000 gross tons. The Caribbean Princess, my third cruise, was 112,000. Royal Caribbean's Adventure of the Seas was 138,000 or 136,000. I think it's 138. And this one, Jewel of the Seas, is only 90,000. So 2023 Adventure of the Seas was the biggest cruise ship I've been on to this date, and Jewel of the Seas was the smallest. So I was kind of worried about this cruise. Wasn't sure if I was going to be disappointed or not, since the ship was so small. But I'll go ahead and talk about my experiences, and then kind of give my reviews on what I thought that I liked and didn't like. Okay, so here's the itinerary. And another thing I forgot to mention is the first 4 cruises I went on were all 7-day cruises, and it always seems like when going on a 7-day cruise, the last 3 or 4 days just fly by way too fast. So I thought, well, this time I want to do a 10-day cruise. So first, on Saturday, what we'd do, drive to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, spend the night at a hotel, and then Sunday morning fly to Houston. Originally we were planning to stay at a hotel at Houston and ride to Galveston the next day, but those plans kind of changed, and said we'd fly to Houston and get a ride to Galveston, and then spend the night there, and then board on Monday. Tuesday would be a day at sea. That's just where the ship is out cruising, doesn't have any stops. Wednesday, it would make its first stop in Yucatan, Mexico. Thursday would stop in Cozumel, Mexico. Friday at Costa Maya, Mexico. Saturday, Roatan, Honduras. And then on Sunday, there's a day at sea. Monday would be Grand Cayman. And Tuesday, Wednesday, day at sea. And then Thursday morning, we would get back to Galveston and disembark the ship. And usually the last day of the cruise is always a full day of traveling, going from the cruise ship, riding to the airport, and then sometimes you gotta wait for your flight, so there's a lot of waiting involved, and then you got the flight itself, and then the drive back home. So it's pretty much from like 8 in the morning till sometimes like 10, 11 at night of nothing but traveling. Okay, so here's February 8th, 2025, packing up my luggage. I had a luggage and a carry-on bag. And as I get going, some of these dates and times stamps are going to be out of order, because I kind of mix the pictures up to fit in with like certain things I'm talking about. But I'll still kind of follow the dates as I'm talking about the experiences. Okay, so here's my friend Neil. Putting his luggage in my car. that would be on Thursday the 8th. Okay, I'm gonna pull up the calendar on my phone so I don't have to keep going back and forth to the calendar, you know, matching up the day with the dates, because it doesn't, like this was Saturday. And when we got to Cedar Rapids, we stayed at this hotel right here. So you get Cedar Rapids, Iowa. This is on Google Maps, and you know what's kind of cool? Here's the airport right here. You got these 4 hotels right here. Well, on my 3rd cruise in 2022, we stayed here, Country Inn and Suites. In 2023, my 4th cruise, we stayed at the Comfort Inn and Suites. And now on this cruise, we're staying at the American Inn. So it'd be kind of cool if the next cruise we ended up staying at this one. But I can understand why we stay at one of those 4 hotels, because it's pretty close to the airport. That's something the travel agent set up for us. We usually go through the travel agency and they kind of get the flight set up for us, the hotels, and you know, the gratuities and insurance. And I would recommend, if you're taking a cruise and the travel agent asks if you want traveler's insurance, definitely take it. It's only like $100 and it covers anything if you should miss your cruise, or you know, something should happen. And also the prepaid gratuities, it's best to get those out of the way so you're not hit with a bill afterwards. If you want to know more about those, you can talk to your travel agent. But we stayed at this hotel here in Iowa, and it was like 10 degrees out. It was freezing cold. There's our hotel room. Some of the pictures are blurry because I just bought this digital camera, and it seems like anytime there's a light source in the background, it blurs much of the picture. Some of the pictures I got with my phone, which are much better quality. But it's just, I don't want to, you know, usually when I go on cruises, I might take like 500 pictures, 600 pictures. And I don't want to sit there flipping through my phone, you know, if I'm trying to find a picture or something specific to show to somebody. There's my friend Neil. Now, I did have 2 friends that gave permission to have to be viewed on Facebook. For the other people that I didn't get permission, like a lot of random strangers and a few friends I met, I went and blurred their faces out, just because I don't want any legal issues or complaints or anything. And we had a hot tub and swimming pool, so we got in the hot tub one night. And here's the 9th. So this would be Sunday the 9th. In the morning we caught a flight, a very small plane. There were only 13 rows. We were in row 13, the very back. But I got a window seat, which is pretty cool. I like taking pictures outside the plane, or out of the plane. And then we flew from Iowa to Chicago, the O'Hare Airport. Now on our second flight from Chicago to Houston, I didn't get a window seat, but they had TVs in the back of the seat, so I watched Karate Kid, one of my favorite movies. And then we landed at the George Bush Airport in Houston, Texas. And then we got an Uber ride from Houston, Texas to Galveston, which is like an hour ride, and I think it cost like $90. Here we are arriving at Houston. We had a pretty cool Uber driver, talking to her pretty much the whole ride, telling us about some of her crazy experiences driving for Uber. And here we are in Galveston. Now this is where the timestamp's going to kind of not match up because I mixed some pictures around. Because at first I took a picture of the hotel from the outside, and then we went for a walk, I got some more pictures, and then we came back to the hotel and I got pictures on the inside. But I wanted to show the hotel first and then our journey, so that's why some of these timestamps aren't going to be matched up. But anyway, we went to the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Galveston, and that is located right here on the coast. You got Seawall Boulevard and 33rd Street. Right there. Not too bad of a hotel. Had a swimming pool out here, but it was actually kind of cool when we got down there. It was like 65 degrees, which, I mean, when we landed, it was so hot because I was wearing long johns underneath my pants. I was wearing 4 layers of clothes on my top, you know, my t-shirt, a sweatshirt, a jacket, and my Chicago Blackhawk jersey. And I mean, because we left Cedar Rapids, it's like 10 degrees, and then we get to Houston and it's like 65 degrees. It was kind of hot, but at nighttime in Houston it was getting, or in Galveston it was getting kind of cool out, like 65. And plus you got that ocean breeze. I mean, 65 is actually warm, but you got that ocean breeze, kind of made it feel a little cooler. So yeah, we got there at like 9 at night, right around there. This is what was really weird about the hotel, is it didn't look like your average hotel. It kind of looked like a hospital that was converted into a hotel. I mean, this is the entrance right here. I mean, this is the lobby, which looks like a hospital's waiting room. There's our room. We had room 505. Had 2 nice, good-sized beds. Had a balcony. And then we went for a walk. So yeah. This picture right here I took in the morning time, but jumping back to nighttime, went for a walk down this way. So we walked southwest down Seawall Boulevard. We walked probably about a mile. Just, you know, going to get something to eat, and it was a pretty safe area. There's like families and that walking around. Went to Papa's Pizza. Kind of a nice little pizza place. I mean, it looks empty there, but there were probably about 10 people that eat in there. It's just their tables on the other side too. Got pizza, got pepperoni, and Hawaiian, half and half. We also watched the Super Bowl, the Philadelphia Eagles playing against the Kansas City Chiefs. We didn't watch the whole game, but I mean, the Eagles were crushing them, so it's not like it was going to be real close. Plus, I'm really not a fan of either team, so I didn't care who won. Actually, I was cheering for the Eagles, though, because I'm tired of seeing the Chiefs win every year, and I'm pretty sure my friend Jimmy is an Eagles fan, so I got a couple reasons to cheer for him. And then we walked back to the hotel. See, now this shows like 7:30. So this picture's like older. So I guess actually we got there earlier than I thought, but it's still nighttime. And the next morning we got up. This is boarding day, the 10th. And this time we decided to walk up this way. So we went northeast up to right about here. Oops, wrong one. We decided to check this thing out, but when we got up there, it was closed off, so I'm thinking they probably open at a certain time. This is like 7 in the morning. Then we caught an Uber ride to our cruise port. And that would be way up here. Right through the Royal Caribbean cruise port. Kind of drop in and see if there's a cruise ship there. I have no idea what that is, but I don't think it's definitely not a cruise ship. See, these cruises aren't at their home dock very long. They get there at like 8 in the morning. They drop off a load of passengers, and within hours they have to make all those beds. It's called turnaround day. They have to make all those beds. They have to replenish all the food. They have to refuel the ship. And I watched a video on the behind the scenes of a cruise ship, and it was just crazy all the work they do, getting all the luggages off the ship, getting all these new luggages back on the ship. And I mean, they got to order tons and tons and tons of food, and they have to inspect the food as it arrives. If anything's not perfect, they dispose, you know, they tell the vendor, you know, take the food back and bring us new food. I mean, they have to do all of this within a very short time, and it's completely, the whole thing is choreographed, like scheduled. And then about 9 hours later, it's like 5 p.m. they got the new passengers on board, and they go out. They're gone for, like, you know, it could be a 3-day cruise, 4-day cruise, 7-day, 10-day. You got 12-day, you got 14-day, 15-day. I mean, there's like so many different cruise itineraries, different cruise lines, different ships. The current cruise line that I've been going on, Royal Caribbean, they've got the biggest fleet. They've got 29 ships. Carnival's got the second biggest fleet with 27. And I think third might be Norwegian Cruise Lines. You got MSC. Or might be MSC might be third, maybe Norwegian fourth, I'm not sure, but so it's so exciting when you're pulling up to the cruise terminal and you see the ship that you're going to be on right there, Jewel of the Seas. Here we are inside the cruise terminal, and one thing I must say about Royal Caribbean is you do not have to wait long. You know, the first cruise we pulled up in the Uber, and within 14 minutes we're on board the ship. This time, 13 minutes. I mean, take a look at, I mean, this picture right here was taken from the Uber, 10:59 a.m. There we are on the gangway. Look at that, 11:13. So right there's 14 minutes, but we probably walked around for a minute before we got this picture, because we showed up on deck 5. It's like the promenade deck, so it's got like an outer ring with the lifeboats hanging above it. And then we walked in here, and each deck has one of these kind of like maps. So right here's a boarding area on deck 2, but that's for when you're docking at other countries. We docked on deck 5, but you know, deck 3 is staterooms, deck 4 staterooms, and you got Royal Caribbean Online, you got the lobby bar, shore excursions desk, guest service desk, more staterooms, and then you got Tide's dining room, which is the main dining room. That's on deck 4 and 5. It's got like an upper balcony. And you go up deck 5, you got the Coral Theater at the front of the ship, which is deck 5 and 6. Looks like a theater where they got plays and shows and stuff like that. They got like comedians. And they got the conference center, art and photo gallery, shops of Centrum, which are gift shops. Latitudes, I do not recall being in there. I forgot what that actually is. Then you got the next cruise where you can go to book your next one. And here's the upstairs of Tide's dining room. Deck 6. As I mentioned, you got the upstairs of the Coral Theater. You got the cinema, which is a little movie theater. You got the Pit Stop bar. You got the Casino Royale. Pretty good size, nice size casino. Not sure what Vintages is. You got the Schooner bar. It's kind of a pretty big bar with a lot of like lounge chairs, like lounging seats, like real cushiony seats where you can sit around. You got Chops Grill, which is a steakhouse. Now, if you eat in the main dining room or at the buffet, all the food's already covered in the price, so it's basically free. But Chops Grill is a specialty restaurant. You have to pay extra for it. It's a steakhouse. You don't have to go to Chops, like all these specialty restaurants, you don't have to go to them. But it is cool that you have that option. There's Giovanni's Table, which is an Italian restaurant. And I don't know, I heard that the food's supposed to be better there, but I mean, I've never really had a problem with the food on most cruise lines. I will admit, on the Princess cruise ship, I really didn't care much for the food. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. It was kind of average, and it seemed like they didn't have much variety. It was like I was eating the same thing every day. But, you know, I mean, that was the tail end of COVID, so that there was like a lot of problems going on. They might have had a hard time getting food. I don't want to necessarily blame the cruise line for the food if I'm not sure that was the purpose. Got the game reserves. I'm not sure what that's all about. The Serengeti Card Club. The Safari Club. So I don't... Oh, you know what? I think the game reserves and I think these two are in the Safari Club. But the Safari Club's got like these pool tables in it, so I think that's what they call the game reserves. And then there's also some tables you can sit down and play like board games or card games. So I think both of these are inside Safari Club. You might be wondering how do you play pool on a cruise ship? Well, we'll get to that a little later. Okay, deck 7, you got staterooms, business center, deck 8, deck 9, deck 10, all staterooms. We were on deck 10, up towards the front. Deck 11, you've got more staterooms. You got the spa, which, you know, that's where you can go to get massages and manicures, pedicures, shaving, haircuts, stuff like that. You've got the solarium, which is a really nice indoor area with like a glass dome over it. There's a swimming pool and hot tub in there. That's the adult section. But here's what doesn't make sense. You got the solarium bar and the pizzeria in there. So if a kid wants pizza, he's going to have to go into the solarium to get it, which is an adults only section. And they got the pool bar and the main swimming pool. So yeah, it's like right here on up to the front is supposed to be adults only, and then back here you got the main pool. There's 2 hot tubs also by the main pool. Then here's another art gallery. And you got the Windjammer buffet, huge buffet and lots of seats. And it's like the seats are all in different sections too, so you can sit on like starboard side of the ship, port side. There's the aft section. That's going to be pretty cool. I got some pictures of that. Deck 12. You got the fitness center here, which is basically a gym. Got the sky bar. which the Sky Bar is actually right above the pool bar. So I don't know why they got it way over there, but you got a jogging track up there. The loyalty desk. You got an arcade room. I don't know what Fuel's all about, or any of this stuff. I do know Azumi is the Japanese restaurant. It's another specialty restaurant. Fairways of Jewel, that's the golf course, miniature golf course. Got the rock climbing wall. I don't know what a concierge lounge is. Or the bike. Oh, I think, you know what? I think those are certain lounges that you can't get into unless you're high enough on their, you know, like their perks. For example, when we went on this cruise, we were up to 7 points because we already did a 7-day cruise with the Royal Caribbean. But I think you need 25 cruise points to move up to the next level. Like the Diamond Club, I don't think we can get into yet. But then I also hear that if you book a suite, you get 2 points per day. Okay, now let's go. Now that I explained what everything is, now let's go take a look at it. This is the Casino Royale. Got a bar inside. They got slot machines. They got video poker. They got craps. They got roulette. Pretty much anything a regular casino will have. There's the Coral Theater. Look at the stage and all the seating. There we are walking into the Schooner Bar. This is on deck 6. I didn't get a very good picture of the Schooner Bar, but here's the Safari Club. Here's the 2 pool tables they got in there. So these are called gyro tables. What they do is they will move to counteract the ship's movements. And it was pretty cool because we played a lot of pool on board. And it's like the ship was rocking quite a bit. These smaller ships that you're on, you can feel them moving easier than the bigger ships. Not only that, but we had a few problems where we had to, you know, due to weather conditions, we had to kind of switch up our itinerary. So the ship was moving pretty fast to get to one place and moving pretty fast to get back to another place. So you can feel the ship moving quite a bit. Luckily, my friend and I don't get seasick. Of course, I don't really know. I don't remember hearing of anyone getting seasick except for one friend I had that I met on the ship towards like the last day, but we could get to that. But so, yeah, we had these gyro tables, but sometimes they weren't working. It's like one day, the first day we played pool, we went to this table over here, and you know, because there was a kid playing on this pool table, but we racked up the balls. My friend Neil lifted up the rack and all the balls went rolling towards him. So sometimes the gyros aren't working. What you have to do is you have buttons on both sides that push in and pull out, and you got to kind of play around with those. I'm not sure exactly whether you're supposed to push them in or pull them out, but you know, there was one night when both tables were messed up and the guy came over and was kind of checked out the knobs, and he ended up getting it to work for us. So it was kind of cool. But yeah, half the time one of them wouldn't be working, or the other one wouldn't be working. But there was usually almost always one table working, except for the one night both of them weren't, when that guy fixed the one. But one of the complaints I have, the biggest complaint, is there's a plaque up here that says you're supposed to be 18 years or older to be using these tables, and it seems like every time we went in there were kids playing on them. So they got these rules that nobody's enforcing. And I mean, I can understand there's no adults around, then maybe it's okay for the kids to play, but you know, if you see a group of adults come up wanting to play pool, I think kids should hand over their sticks, or at least put some pool tables in a kid area. Not to mention, there was this one kid that was always in here playing pool, and he was sitting there swinging the pool cue around, twirling it in his hands. And he's lucky he didn't break any of these glass windows. And then he was always dropping it too, which annoyed everyone. Everyone would look over. Okay, then we walk into our cabin. Deck 10, forward, starboard side, room 1506. And here's the location on the cruise. We were right here, lined right up at the bridge, third cabin back. This is the first time being in the forward section. Usually I'm been in the mid section all the other times. And when you're in the forward section, you can definitely feel it. The bed, every night when I went to bed, the bed would be rocking. But I think, you know, that actually helped me sleep better, being rocked to sleep. But let's see. I'm probably going to want to pull up this picture again later. So let me show where everything is. You've got okay, here's the solarium. The solarium's actually towards the front of the ship. It's got this dome, glass dome over it, and actually it's retracted right here. So it's a retractable dome. Most of the time it was covered up. There was one day we were walking by and we saw that it was retracted up. But yeah, it's kind of cool. This thing's usually closed. There's a hot tub right here and a swimming pool right here. And here's the main swimming pool here, and you got two hot tubs right there. One there, one there. Here's the jumbo TV screen. This right here is deck 12. Down here is deck 11. And behind all these blue windows, those are all like deck 11 where a lot of people can walk. Back here, that's part of the Windjammer buffet. Here's the water slide back here. Miniature golf courses right here. Got a basketball court down there. And this is the fitness room inside there. You got kind of an area up here. You got the helipad down here. So yeah, you can actually walk up here and check out the helipad. Here's our cabin. This is one thing. They had our beds pushed together, and it's like, you know, we're not going to share a bed. I mean, I don't want to repeat the scene from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with Steve Martin and John Candy. So we talked to the room steward, and they separated our beds for us. There's a balcony right there. Let's go back a picture. You can see the curtains open. It was in the daytime, and it was later at night when we got the beds fixed for us. There's our table. So yeah, here's some more pictures where the timestamp's going to be out, because we went to our cabin, dropped our luggages off, and then, you know, I only got like one picture and then left. Came back later, got more pictures, so. Anyway, small TV right there. Couch back there. They only had two outlets. There's one right here and there's one over here. You can barely see the corner of it, but I mean, that's a common thing you see on cruises, is they have very limited outlets. Now, you're not allowed to bring power strips with you or surge protectors, but what they do is allow is plugs that have extra USB ports in them, so that way if you got multiple people in your cabin, you can all plug in your phones. And like, for example, I got an iWatch that I charged in this one, and then over in the other outlet, Neil brought a plug that had like 2 plug-ins for it, so him and I were both able to plug our phones in at night. Down in this cabinet right here, you got a little cooler. And in this cabinet you got a safe. That's usually where, like, I'll put my checkbook. I might be the only person on the planet who still uses a checkbook. And we'll put our passports in there. I mean, I don't think you really have to worry about anyone stealing. I mean, you've got the same, like, cabin stewards all week. So, I mean, if something goes missing, you turn it into the front desk, they're going to know who it was. But, I mean, still, if it makes you feel safer, there's a safe, which we did put some things in. And to lock the safe, you enter your own 4-digit code, and only that 4-digit code will unlock it. And next time you use it, you could do a different code each day if you want, or each time if you want. There's our couch, very small. There's our balcony. There's our shower. The shower is very small. But I do like the sliding glass doors they got. Those are pretty cool. Kind of keeps all the steam inside and all the heat. There's our cabinets. Above the sink. Really not a whole lot of room to put everything. There's the outlet with the 2 phones. Bedstand. Bottle for my contact solution. First thing I'd like to do, or one of the first things I'd like to do, is unpack my luggage. Put all my clothes on the shelves. That way, after I wore the clothes, they're dirty, I just throw them back in the luggage. Okay, doing some more walking around. This is deck 11, the Lido deck, which is the main pool deck. So, wish I could pull that. I guess I can pull it up again. So anyways, so right here you see the pool deck. You go back that way, and that's the other side, which is where this is. Got 2 ping pong tables. Back here is coffee. So every morning I'd wake up, I'd come up here and go get my coffee back there. This is the smoking section, which is on the opposite side. So this runs like right down here, from about here to maybe here. It's kind of hard to tell. But then you go in those doors and you got the Windjammer buffet back here. These windows are really hard to open and close. They're really heavy. The one thing I didn't like about the smaller ship is it seems like there's a lot more elderly people on board. And I think the reason why elderly people do smaller ships is because they want less people. They don't want too many, like the party crowd. But I mean, it wasn't nearly as bad as Princess. Princess was like, it felt like it was 90%, maybe 95% elderly. This one, maybe 65-70%, so at least there were quite a few people closer to my age that I could talk to and hang out with. But yeah, there's the main swimming pool right there. 2 hot tubs. And this right here leads into the Windjammer. Well, actually, no, that leads into the lobby. Then you go through the lobby and the Windjammer's over there, and the ping pong table is over this direction. The smoking section is back in this direction. So you got like 2 hallways that wrap around the sides. There's the rock climbing wall, the basketball court, the water slide. I really didn't see a whole lot of people on the water slide. You got this bridge here. I believe the arcade room is either back here or back this way. I can't remember. But you got this bridge here that leads to the miniature golf course here. There's the arcade room. You got some air hockey tables. Neil and I played a couple games of air hockey. He beat me the first day, and there's another day we played now one. There you can look from the top all the way down to deck 4. There's the helipad right at the front of the ship. There's the exercise room. Washi Washi girl, so she stood in the Windjammer buffet, and there was her and there was another girl that would take turns, and every time you walk into the buffet, they say to you washi washi, and so you'd have to put sanitizer in your hand. There was a dispenser there, or she also held a bag of dispenser that she'd spray in your hands, just kind of sanitize. And there's the inside of the buffet. It's called the Windjammer. This is on deck 11. And they have such a wide variety of foods to choose from. I mean, they got like chicken, there's fish, there's, you know, burgers, there's, you know, pork chops, salads. I mean, just such a wide variety. And sometimes we'd eat at the buffet, like breakfast, lunch, most of the time. Sometimes dinner. There's another look at the buffet. So you just grab what you want, then you walk around and look for a table. And here's the back section right here, which is pretty cool. So, like, here's the Windjammer buffet back here. I mean, that's just one side, and then you got the other side, and then you got the back section right here. Which is right here. Usually on boarding day, it's hard to find a seat in the Windjammer buffet because everyone's just getting on board, and the cabins usually aren't ready right away, and everyone just kind of sits down and eats. Okay, and there's also the main dining room called Tide's Dining Room. Some nights we ate here. So you get this app on your phone, the Royal Caribbean app, and it has like what's on the menu every night in the main dining room, so you can kind of just look it up. And that's often what we do. If we didn't see anything on the menu we'd like, then we just go to the buffet instead. But some nights we went to the main dining room. And on that first night we went to a stand-up comedy, but they had some music like right before the comedy show. Okay, this is the girl that runs the spa, and who's that freak? Oh, that's me. Yeah, so I've been a big Marilyn Manson fan for like 20 years. Learned a lot from him. I think he really helped me out in life, so that's why I kind of got the 2 different colored contacts. I used to have long hair, but I'm pretty sure this is the first time I'd ever shown myself on my YouTube channel. This girl right here is Dion. She ran the spa, and Neil and I set up massages for her. Or she didn't do the massages, but she was the one that did the appointments, and after that we'd always run into her and she'd start talking to us. So I ended up getting a massage. This was my massage therapist. I forgot her name, but she did a really good job. And here we are on the 13th. So this would be okay, so anyway, we're supposed to stop at Yucatan, Mexico on the 12th, but due to high winds, we couldn't stop there. I was kind of disappointed because that's the only stop I haven't been to out of this itinerary. So we had another day at sea, but then on Thursday the 13th, we stopped in Cozumel, Mexico. Now, I had already been here twice before. So I just kind of got a picture standing in front of the sign. There's our ship in the background. There's also another ship docked to us. That was also a Royal Caribbean ship. That was Enchantment of the Seas, which is slightly smaller than ours. And there are also two Carnival ships there. There's the Carnival Horizon and the Carnival Jubilee. This is Carnival's biggest ship right there. There's the two Royal Caribbean ships. So we just kind of walked around Cozumel, you know, kind of checked out some shops and bought a few things and souvenirs, and then we headed back to the ship. So usually when we get off the ship, it's just maybe like an hour or two. Okay, here's the next day, Valentine's Day. It is Friday the 14th. We stopped in, okay, we were supposed to stop in Costa Maya, Mexico on the 14th, but they found out that there's going to be high winds in Honduras on Saturday, so they changed the itinerary. They switched. On the 14th, we went to Roatan, Honduras instead. And Neil and I had booked a shore excursion for $74, I think it was. What we did was we get on the shuttle bus here, and we played with the monkeys and sloths. So you get in this cage, and you have like probably 20 of us in the cage at once, and there's 3 monkeys in there running around, and they like to jump on people. They'll jump from head to head, and it's kind of just fun to play with. They told us to empty everything out of our pockets because the monkeys will take stuff, and sure enough, there's a Roatan dollar bill, which I think is equivalent to 4 American cents. I had it in my shirt pocket, forgot to take it out. The monkey got a hold of it, was running around with it in his mouth, but he climbed up on the top of the cage and dropped it, so I was able to get it back. My friend Neil had a fishing hat on, and his monkey was trying so hard to yank that thing off. Got to hold the sloth. I wasn't really impressed with the sloths, they were kind of boring. Macaws. Bunch of colorful birds. I really had no interest in holding the birds either, because when I got in the cage and I saw these birds up there, saw them dropping some bombs, and it's like, yeah, I don't want to get hit with any of that. So, I mean, I did go inside the cage, but I didn't really want to hold them. And what was weird was the birds at first would not fly down, and it turned out there was this lady in the cage that had a hair ribbon in her hair, ponytail hair ribbon, and it was like leopard print. So the tour guide had to ask her to take it out of her hair, because apparently the birds will see that print and think it's like a lion or tiger, leopard, cheetah, whatever. The bird won't come down, so she took it out of her hair and the bird came flying down. There's like, I think 5 or 6 birds. And then after the excursion, we took the shuttle bus back. That shuttle bus ride was probably like 45 minutes. But just got some pictures, checked some stuff out. And then we went back to the ship. Okay, no, on Friday... Wait. Saturday, the 15th, we went to Honduras, Costa Maya. So So it's Costa Maya, Roatan, Honduras. I'm not sure if that's city, state, and country or what, but saw a bunch of flamingos. We just kind of wandered around. There's a really long pier to our ship. Here's a girl I met, Samantha, from Ohio. We ended up meeting a couple times out there and talking, and we ended up becoming really good friends. And Neil and I didn't hang around all the time on the ship. Sometimes we'd do stuff together, sometimes we'd wander around, but every once in a while he'd stop by, and so the three of us got talking and actually started hanging out together. So we went down and played pool. I mean, I usually, every cruise I'll meet some friends, you know, get selfies with them and that, but I think this is the first time that I actually met friends on a cruise ship where we hung out with them. I mean, Sam was one of them, and there was another group from Canada. There was Pat, who goes by Patty. There's his wife Jess, and their two daughters, Deborah and Allison. Sure. You know, Pat's well, close to my age. He's 40, I'm 48, but his daughters are in their 20s. So, yeah, he had his kids kind of early, but yeah, they were a group. Played pool with them a few times. This time it was just Sam, Neil, and me playing game pool. And then on, I think this was Monday, we went and got our tickets to go to Grand Cayman, because Grand Cayman doesn't have a long pier. So what you have to do is take a tender boat from the cruise ship. The cruise ship docks out in the middle of the ocean. You have to take the tender boat from from your cruise ship to the pier, and you need tickets. So we went down to get tickets. We all got off the ship at the same time together. But once we got, you know, inside, Sam and her kids went to the beach. Neil and I decided to head up the opposite direction, and here are my friends, Patty, Jess, Deborah, and Allison. I didn't get permission to use their pictures, so I wasn't sure how they feel about it, so I put some Mario characters over them. I should have put a Mario character over this guy too, but yeah, they're from Canada. So Neil and I walked down to a bar called Sharky's when we were in Grand Cayman in 2019. When we were on the Carnival Glory, we stopped in Grand Cayman, and Neil, his friend Mike, and I went to this bar called Sharky's, so Neil and I decided to go back there again. Got some onion rings, fries, drink. And we kind of walked around town. Went back to the ship. We played miniature golf. There's Neil putting. There's Sam putting. And the one complaint I have about the miniature golf course is there were like no obstacles, no windmills. I mean, like every miniature golf course has a windmill on it. And they usually got like all kinds of different obstacles, but you know, these are just like, I mean, the only obstacles they had were some of them curved. I mean, it was, I mean, I think they could have put a little more effort into making it more fun. Here we are in the Schooner Bar doing trivia. So that was always fun. That's something I might want to do more often on my next cruise, is some trivia. Although some of the ones we had here were really hard. Like they asked, what is the capital of Mongolia? Like, okay, now I might know the capitals of the United States, but yeah, Mongolia, I have no clue. So on one quiz we got 14 out of 20 right. One we got 4 out of 20. And one we got like 8 out of 20. There was one 80s music groups that Neil thought he'd get most of them. I thought he'd get some of them, but they picked out some really odd songs to play, like songs that most people haven't heard of. I thought it would be more like common songs. And Sam and I went to a movie theater together, which, I was kind of surprised how small the theater was, but went and saw the movie Twisters. Such a good movie. When I got back home, I took my friend to Walmart, because we go shopping every Saturday, or every other Saturday, except for the one Saturday when I was... Wait a minute. Okay, oh yeah, you know what, I did... So we didn't miss a Walmart. I took him shopping Saturday the 8th before I left, and then I got back on the 20th and took him shopping the 22nd. So anyway, when we were at Walmart, I bought the movie. Neil and I went to the casino. I played some video poker. I put $20 in. Now, if I would have hit a big jackpot, I would have checked out or cashed out. But, if I was going to hit anything big, I was just going to keep playing, I was probably playing for half an hour, so I got my $20 worth out of having fun. But, if I would have hit a big jackpot, I'd probably keep going back. I only played one time. And that was something that was kind of on my bucket list, because this was my 5th cruise. And on the previous 4, I had never played in the casino. So I thought, well, I gotta try it at least once. My friend Neil played some blackjack, and he had kind of a strategy where he just played 10 hands and stopped. He ended up coming out ahead $30. Here we are again, Neil, Sam, and me at the Schooner Bar doing some more trivia. And here's the solarium, the glass dome, the hot tub. So yeah, we went to the hot tubs. Neil and I went almost every day, and then Sam joined us the last 2 or 3 days. But we found that during the daytime, it was always crowded. So this is the adult section, because you go into the other one, you're going to have kids splashing you, so we go into this one. And it says on the sign over here, I can't really see it, but it says maximum occupancy 13. Well, if you've got 7 people in this hot tub, you're pretty much shoulder to shoulder. So I don't know where they thought 13 would be a good idea. Maybe if you're sitting on each other's laps or something, but anyway, it was usually kind of crowded during the day. We found that if you go at nighttime, it's usually not many people in here. So we started, like halfway through the cruise, we started going every night. Usually sitting there for about half an hour, or maybe half an hour to an hour. Yeah, I think it was, actually, come to think about it, I don't think I sat in there any less than like 45 minutes. Then we dressed up for formal night. Actually, this wasn't formal night, but we missed our second formal night. So we decided we're going to go ahead and dress up for dinner this night instead. There's me and Sam. There's Neil, Sam, and me. Sam and me. Salmon. That's kind of funny. There's Neil. We decided to play a game of pool too while we're there. And Neil taking a shot, then Sam taking a shot. There's me taking a shot. And here's the saddest part of a cruise. It's time to go. Now, normally we took our luggage off the ship with us, but this time we were taking a shuttle, Royal Caribbean shuttle, from the ship to the port, or airport. So what we had to do is put our luggage outside. This is kind of a problem because when going to the airport, you can't put liquids in your carry-on bag if they're more than 3 ounces. And I've got like a big bottle of mouthwash, I've got a tube of toothpaste, I've got shaving cream, hairspray, hair gel, and all that stuff that I normally put in my luggage because you can't put in a carry-on bag. But here I can't put it in my luggage because they're going to pick them up at night and I'm going to need that stuff in the morning. So what Neil and I came up with is we'll just leave all our bathroom stuff in the bathroom, set our luggage outside. In the morning we'll go ahead and use our stuff for the last time. We'll put it in our carry-on bag. When we get to the airport we'll have to transfer it from the carry-on bag to the luggage. Kind of a hassle. You know, when I got up that morning on Wednesday the 19th, it was 77 degrees. By nighttime, it was 53 degrees. When I woke up the next morning, it was 36 degrees. So yeah, by the time we got to Galveston, it was pretty cold. For Texas, anyway. And here we are, getting off the ship. Here we are on the shuttle bus driving away. There's Carnival Breeze is docked down there. And then you've got the Disney, I think it was the Disney Magic. That's the first time I've seen a Disney cruise ship in person. I've seen plenty of Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Princess, Norwegian Cruise Lines. I don't think I've seen an MSC cruise ship in person, but oh, I forgot to mention that when we stopped in Cozumel, I think it was Cozumel, there was a cruise ship, Oceanic Cruise Lines. They're kind of a smaller cruise line. They only got like, I think 8 ships or something like that. I mean, Disney only has 5 ships, but their name, the Disney name, is huge. I think Disney has 6 ships now. Here we are getting to Houston. There's where the Houston Astros play. Here we are at the George Bush Airport in Houston. So yeah, we got there at like 10 o'clock. And went through security. We had a lot of time. Yeah, our flight wasn't until like 4:30, something like that. So we had like 6 hours to kill before we got there. But you know, the time actually did go pretty quick. We stopped at Forno Magico, which is a restaurant. Upstairs pizza. It was pretty good pizza. There's also outlets right there on the table so we could charge our phones. And I think we sat there for like 2 hours. Because after we ate, it's like, what is there to do, really, you know? Just sitting here at the airport. Our flight's not for a while, so we're kind of playing around on our phones. We finally did get up and just went walking. Here we are flying United Airlines. I got a window seat. There we are flying out of Houston. These are kind of cool. These are like things that cover cars. I mean, why don't we have those in Iowa where it snows? Here we are landing in Chicago. You can't really see much here, but it was kind of cool. I could see the Hancock building. And I forgot to mention that when we were flying out of Chicago the first time, flying from Chicago to Houston, we flew directly over the Hancock building. It was pretty cool looking down on it. But, you know, in flying in here, I was able to see the Sears Tower, now known as the Willis Tower. There's Wrigley Field. That was kind of cool. I'm not a Cubs fan, but still kind of cool to see their stadium. I grew up a White Sox fan. As a kid, I've been to the old Comiskey Park 4 times. I've been to the new Comiskey Park 5 times. I've been to Soldier Field twice. I've been to the United Center once. Wrigley Field is the only stadium I haven't been to yet, so that's kind of something else that's on my bucket list. Maybe I'll go to a White Sox Cub game sometime. Here we are at the airport. So yeah, we're kind of nervous when we got to the airport. We had like 10 minutes to get to our next flight. So we got off and you got these moving walkways. We're like walking really fast down it. And we ended up boarding the plane. And we were also worried, you know, okay, we made it to the plane, okay, what about our luggage? Were they able to get our luggage transferred within 10 minutes? And when we asked the airplane stewardess, she said, oh yeah, your luggage was on here before you were. So it's kind of crazy how fast they do that stuff. But once again, I got a window seat. This time I was on the right side. And here we are, the Cedar Rapids Airport. And that pretty much concludes the journey. So, overall opinion on Jewel of the Seas. I mean, okay, complaints. Okay, one complaint I have is the food. I mean, not the taste of the food. The taste of the food I thought was great on the whole ship. No matter what I ate on the ship, it was great. But the way they did it, they had like the Solarium Cafe open in the morning where you can get like these ham and cheese sandwiches that I liked. But they were only open for like a couple hours. They closed and the Windjammer Buffet opens for a few hours, so then you can eat in there. And that closes and the Solarium Cafe opens to serve pizza, but they only serve pizza for a few hours, like by the slice. And I think that closes and the Windjammer opens back up, or I don't know, it's like kind of weird. But see, on all the previous cruises I've been on, you can get a slice of pizza any time of the day. There's like, or almost any time of the day, from early in the morning to late at night. Anytime you want a slice of pizza, you can get it. Here, it was kind of limited. So that's one complaint. But as I said, the food was great though, as far as flavor. There seemed to be a wide variety. I mean, if not at the main dining room, you also have the buffet. Another complaint is kids. You know, they weren't enforcing the rules on the restricted areas where kids are allowed to go and aren't to go. And that was kind of annoying. I guess, you know, I saw some kids walking through the solarium, which wasn't too bad because at least they weren't getting in the hot tub or pool. But, you know, in the pool room, playing pool, they're always in there even though there was a sign that said it must be 18. And I mean, I guess I could have said something to the staff, but, you know, I don't want to get people mad. They're on vacation. They're to have a good time. But another complaint I got, being a small ship, being older people, is it seemed like I had a lot of road rage walking behind old people that would just stop and start talking to somebody. It's like, you're like right in the middle of the walkway here. There's not a whole lot of room to walk around you. So I'd get as close as I could to them, hoping to make them uncomfortable and get the idea, you know, move out of the way. I do that at grocery stores too, when you're trying to get through and somebody's like just blocking the aisle. Just get as close as you can to them. You know, maybe they'll get the hint. But yeah, a lot of times, you know, and old people, and following this one lady, she has to stop and start digging in her purse to get her C-Pass card out, which is used to get in the door. It's like, step off to the side to do that, you know. And you got old Irma here talking about stopping and talking to Betsy about Gertrude's corns on her feet or something like that. You know, it's like, if you're going to be talking to people, grab a seat, sit down and talk to them. Just be aware of your surroundings. You know, if there's somebody behind you, let them through. That was a common annoyance every day. But as far as entertainment, I mean, yeah, the miniature golf was fun, although it would have been more fun if they had obstacles. The pool tables were fun. Sometimes they weren't working, and the annoying kids were on them. Neil and I were talking about shooting some hoops, but something we never got around to. I was thinking about climbing that rock wall, but something else I never got around to. And oh, these right here, I guess I never really mentioned it. These are glass elevators, which are pretty cool. But other than that, if anybody asks me, would you recommend going on Jewel of the Seas? You know, never been on a cruise before. I'd say, you know what, go ahead. It's worth it. I mean, I did enjoy it, even though it was a smaller ship. If I could start all over again with cruises, I would prefer to start with the smallest ship and just keep working my way up. But I mean, I think right now what I might do, I mean, so the Jewel of the Seas is in the Radiance class of cruise ships. There's one class smaller than that, Vision class, which also has 4 ships. I'm thinking maybe I should focus on going on the Vision class ships, all 4 of those small ships, and then the other 3 Radiance class ships, and then start moving up. But I mean, that's just a thought. But if I go on a cruise once a year, it's going to be like 7 years before I finally go on a ship bigger. So I mean, that's something I might want to do if I was going on like multiple cruises every year. But you know, I got to save up PTO, and I don't want to. You know, I would like to keep an eye on my money. I like to have a good cushion where I got enough money to spend on a cruise. I don't want to end up spending too much. I mean, even on this last cruise, I paid for all the cruising. You know, like the cruise, the hotel rooms and all that beforehand. Well, then on board I still spent another $600, you know, an excursion, a massage. I didn't get the drink package because we don't really drink a whole lot, so you can buy beers or pop as you go, so I did that. I bought a couple shirts. I bought a coffee mug. You know, magnet, you know, and all that stuff adds up. And that's just on board. And there's off the ship, you know, I use the ATM to take money out. There's an ATM on board the ship. If you're ever going to get off the ship, like any of these islands, and you're going to spend money, I would highly recommend not using the ATM in other countries. Use it on the cruise ship. Find your ATM, use it there because it's secure. You don't have to worry. One time I used my debit card in Costa Maya, Mexico. It was my very first cruise. I bought a shirt and I bought my friend Lindsay a dress. I used my debit card on their slide card machine. 2 weeks later, they tried hacking my account. Luckily my bank thought it was suspicious and shut them down, so lesson learned. But anyway, yeah, I would definitely recommend, if you're wondering whether you should go on Jewel of the Seas or not, I'd say yeah, do it. I had a good time. 10 days I thought was perfect too. By like the 9th and 10th day I kind of felt like I was ready to go home. Not that I didn't have fun on the ship, but it's like, okay, I've been out here long enough. I got all these pictures. I've done most of the stuff I want to do. Now I want to get home and upload all these pictures on Facebook. I actually took 601 pictures that I uploaded onto Facebook. But I mean, and then it's like 2 days later, you missed it already. I wish I was back on the ship right now. Yeah, I've pretty much covered everything. So anyway, hope you enjoyed hearing all about my 5th cruise, February 10th to February 20th, 2025. Don't have my next cruise planned out yet, but that's something we're going to be looking into at some point eventually. But hope you enjoyed this one. See you in the next video.